Thank you to Headspace for sponsoring this video. Hi guys, it's Amanda. Welcome back to another video and Happy New Year if you're watching this in the new year. I am very excited for this new year in a way that's different from any other previous New Year's before. I don't know, if you watch my 2024 setup video, which I'll link if you haven't seen it yet, that includes all of my beginning of my journal spreads if you guys are curious about that. But if you watch that video, then you'll know that I have a very different outlook on my life, my career, journaling, creativity, my art. So I'm going to be applying all of this good energy into my bullet journal on paper and see what kind of spreads come up. This does a little bit of housekeeping. I did just want to remind you, if you haven't gotten your 2024 planners yet, the doodle planners are still available. We are sold out of moss green, but we have every other color available. I think teddy is the least we have left. If you've been eyeing one, there's still time. It's not too late, don't worry. Anyway, back to the bullet journal setup, which I'm sure you guys are all here for. This year, I am going about my bullet journal in a little bit of a different way. I think within the past few years, my bullet journal has definitely skewed more towards the planner side of things, which there's nothing wrong with that. But this year, I plan on kind of making it a bit more personal to me. So it's gonna be like a sketchbook, illustration book, travel journal, diary, chicken scratch notebook, just kind of everything is gonna go in there. There are going to be spreads that I show and there are gonna be spreads that I don't show, which is why I've also held back on doing full flip through videos, but I'm just trying to enjoy the actual process of making things this year. So for the first monthly bullet journal theme of 2024, I wanted to go for a really fun and funky, colorful theme, as you can see, and it's also kind of in keeping with my newly rediscovered love for gouache paints. I used gouache for my December setup, and that's one of my favorite things that I've made in recent months, so I've just been really loving gouache, and I actually got new gouache paints for this. The word gouache is starting to sound really weird now, but I did get new paints because a lot of you guys were clowning me for my very dry and cracked Himi jelly gouache paint set. So I wanted to get new ones. I know I'm still gonna use them and I know I still can revive them, but I actually didn't like those that much. So I really wanted to try a different brand, new paints. So this is the Winsor Newton designer set and I really, really like them. I had so much fun setting up my little empty paint palette. So I like that they're in squeeze bottles because then I can decide how much to use. And yeah, I'm just fully converted into the gouache world now. And I think they're really great for beginners because they're a nice mix between watercolor paints and acrylic paints. What I really like about them is that you can get really bold, bright, solid blocks of color like you see me doing here, but they won't take as long to dry as like an acrylic paint. So if you are looking to try new art mediums for the new year, I definitely recommend gouache. For the cover page, you can see the lettering for January. I went in with different fonts and lettering styles for each individual letter, and I think it looks very funky. And then I went and drew different geometric shapes, but instead of it being very symmetrical and perfect, I randomly placed them. I had no plan going into this, and I just drew blobs, spirals, swirls, circles until I filled up all the empty spaces. This is definitely one of those trust the process moments because at first it can look a little random and chaotic, but then as you slowly fill in all of the shapes and build up the page, it comes together really nicely. And I think the key here is playing around with the scale of the shapes as well as the actual shape itself. So I added larger blobs of shapes and then smaller ones like little dots, elongated ones, more round, larger ones. So it just really adds that contrast to your design and makes it look very abstract. And in the end, you just get this really fun, bold print, which I honestly might turn into a free phone wallpaper for you guys. So stay tuned because I did that with the December cover page and you guys loved it. It made me so happy to see so many of you guys use my art as your phone wallpapers, so now that I'm mentioning it, I definitely will turn this into a phone wallpaper. I think it'll be a fun New Year's bright, bold wallpaper, so I'll post about that on my Instagram and then you guys can download it for free. On the left side of the spread, I made a quote page, which I kind of had a period of time of not doing as many quote pages, but I think I'm getting back into making quote pages and they just make me so happy. In my 2024 setup, I actually had 2 of them, and I do think it's because of this resurgence of love for art in general, and I've just been really working hard to heal my relationship with creating art and having fun with it, so that definitely applies here. So for the quote page, I use that same lettering style of doing the different fonts, different colors, but the quote says, "Good things ahead." I really love this different lettering style. I think it's very eclectic looking, but because I kept the heights of each letter consistent, it doesn't look too chaotic, as well as the consistent color palette. I kept everything within this primary color palette, but added green and pink. You guys already know I love a primary color scheme. It's definitely one of my favorite color palettes to use. I've created multiple themes in the past using primary colors, but in the past I would use markers, which tend to not be as bright, and I think because I use gouache paints, I was able to mix the perfect shades of colors that I really liked, and they all kind of came together. So I think that's why this whole thing was very satisfying for me to make, because it was just a mix of all of the sort of design type of elements that I love using: colors, graphic design elements, typography, and art and painting as well. And then I just added those little doodles in the corner of the quote page as well to finish it off. So when things get to be a little bit too much, I really like to take some time to meditate and just be mindful about how my body and how my mind is feeling. So whether you need that little bit of extra support during those big, hectic, chaotic life events like the holidays, which we love, but we can all admit can get a little bit stressful, or if you just need a little bit of help to make it through daily life, Headspace can help you become the best version of yourself. I've talked about my experience with burnout in past videos before, and meditation was honestly one of the only things that helped me in those times. And on Headspace, they have so many different types of guided meditations and exercises, whether you need one for helping you fall asleep, dealing with stress, helping you be more focused. I know the new year is coming up and we all do the new year, new me thing where we set goals at the beginning of the year and then eventually we fall off, but we're not doing that this year. We are actually setting them and doing them. And I really think that in order to achieve any other types of goals, career or personal or relationship, whatever, in order to achieve those, you need to be the best and healthiest version of yourself, which includes healthy in your mind. So I think we should all add meditation to our little bullet journal habit trackers. And if you want to try Headspace out and see how helpful it could be for you, you can try Headspace completely for free for 60 days using the sign up link in my description box or by scanning the QR code on the screen.
It's easy to feel happy and at ease when the mind is calm and clear. Far more valuable is the ability to feel happy and at ease in the midst of noise and confusion.
The next spread that I'm making is my monthly calendar spread, and as you can tell by this theme, I was definitely feeling very fun and funky while creating this, and that's why I kind of wanted to just wing it and go with whatever comes out of my hands. But in doing so, because I didn't sketch things out, I did make a couple of mistakes, as you can tell by that box. But in this whole 2024 theme, we're embracing imperfection, mistakes, so I just left it there. But I had this fun idea of using those geometric shape symbols for each individual day of the week at the top, and then also using my gouache paints to individually outline the box shapes. So you'll see I'm doing these rounded square shapes, which kind of are in line with a lot of the geometric outline shapes that I was using in the cover page. I tried my best to spread out the colors in a random way so that the same colors aren't touching, but you know, there was no plan, so I just kind of went with it. Oh, by the way, I finally got new watercolor and gouache paint brushes. If you've watched any of my past videos where I do paintings or in my Twitch streams, then you might know that I've been using these same brushes since high school when my art teacher told us to buy these certain brushes, and I loved them. They've served me well. They were definitely getting a little worn down, which, you know, I probably still will use them because I think they're still fine to use, but I did think while I'm upgrading my paints, I might as well also upgrade my brushes and get a few new brushes, and let me tell you, it makes makes a world of a difference to have tools that fit your needs. I definitely think with art you can make any sort of tools or materials work, but having tools that are specifically for certain things makes a world of a difference, and it makes my life a lot easier, like these detail moments. So I'll link the ones that I used in the description box because I really like the size variation that it comes with. There were some really tiny ones, which you see me using now, and then some wider ones that I used, as well as some travel ones, which I love. You kind of twist off the top and then you can put the cap over, which is the barrel of the brush. One of the things that I really like about gouache paints is that they're very accident or mistake friendly, and if you watch my 2024 bullet journal setup, you'll know that I have been trying to let myself make mistakes, let go of the perfectionism. I know some of you guys deal with that too. I see it in the comments. Don't hide. I see you. I think I have been getting better about trusting the process and accepting certain mistakes that I make with my art. But if you are still hung up on a mistake that you make with, any sort of drawing or painting, I definitely do recommend gouache paints because you can actually layer colors over top really easily, and if not, I just used white gouache as sort of like a whiteout. The next spread is my habit tracker spread, and like everyone, of course, I'm trying to have good habits for the new year, and I've actually started doing some of the habits that I really want to focus on now because I kind of want it to seep into the new year so that it just becomes more sustainable. And I've also started tracking less habits so that I can focus on the main ones that I really, really want to hone in on. So that is working out, which I have been really good about. I've been working out almost 3 times a week, mostly Pilates and weight training. And if you've been following me on Instagram, then you know we have a little gym doodler rom-com situation going on. So if you want the tea, I would definitely follow me on Instagram because yeah, we'll see how that turns out. And then my vocal lessons, meditation, of course, with Headspace, and taking my vitamins and stretching. And to do this spread, I just drew those symbols out really large, and I'm using that as the background for my calendars. But instead of drawing them out, I'm just using my monthly calendar stamp to stamp that right on top of those abstract shapes. Ink stain crises averted. Now on to my mood tracker spread. For my mood tracker, I'm doing something different than what I've done in the past, and I found this spread, and I'll link down below who originally I found or saw doing this spread because I thought it was kind of cool. So I'm actually writing down the numbers of 1 through 31 all the way down vertically, and there's kind of 2 columns. So one column is where I'm putting in the color, like your typical mood tracker. So I've assigned different colors, as you can see by those 5 dots. And then on the right side, on the larger column, is where I'm writing 1 sentence a day, which I think is a fun addition to a mood tracker because sometimes you can't really explain your mood within just 1 word or emotion. So it's kind of like a little 1 line a day type of thing. So I did an example here on January 1st where I chose pink for the mood, and then on that right side is where I'll write the sentence. Now on to the first spread of 2024, and guys, it's so satisfying that 2024 starts on a Monday. I'm a Monday start type of person for my planners and journals, so it's just so satisfying that not only this month, but this whole year starts on a Monday. It just scratches something in the back of my brain. I love it, and that might not apply to any Sunday start people, but if you're a Monday start person, you know exactly what I mean. I went for my go-to spread, which is this 4-column 2 rows spread, which you guys have seen a lot, but it's just an easy go-to one for me. And I'm using my wide flat brush to create these wavy banners at the top of each day. And then in that empty box, of course, I just filled it in with those abstract shapes and lines just to fill it in. And I kept it pretty simple in terms of the rest of the spread. I didn't even use vertical lines to differentiate the boxes of the days of the week like I normally would. But I really like how this turned out. It's very simple, yet still bold and fun to look at. And all in all, it was actually a pretty quick spread to make because it was just those wavy banners and then random shapes. And then once the paint dried, I used my black fine liner on top of the wavy banners and followed those lines to write out Monday, Tuesday, all throughout Sunday, and I put the number in that wavy banner as well. Alright guys, so here's the final flip through of my January 2024 Still weird to say that, bullet journal setup. I hope you guys enjoyed planning with me and painting with me. I think this theme is so fun and bright, and it's definitely the perfect note to start off this brand new year with. Alright guys, so that was it for the first plan with me video of 2024. It is kind of crazy that this is my 11th year making these videos, but we're still here. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And yeah, I'm cautiously manifesting a good year for both you guys and for me. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm gonna link my 2024 bullet journal setup and any other bullet journaling resources for the new year. If you are new to starting a bullet journal, link those down below, and as well as all of the supplies and stuff that I use. Happy holidays, happy New Year's, and thank you for sticking around to find out what I write in my little journal yet again. Love you guys and keep doodling. Bye everyone.